Hello everybody and welcome to a quick little guide for Resto Druids for Archimonde, the last encounter in Hellfire Citadel. Just very quickly I will run through my talent selection, which I take Displacer Beast, Ysera's Gift, Typhoon, Incarnation, Tree of Life, Mighty Bash, Dream of Cenarius, and Germination. You can see those in the bottom right hand side of my screen with the quick talents add-on. So to begin with, a lot of Resto Druids seem to have a whole pile of mana problems, and I can definitely confirm that. It's not always the most fun being a Resto Druid in this particular patch. To combat that, Dream of Cenarius is probably one of the best talents that you can take for any given situation in terms of raiding this expansion. For things like challenge modes and stuff, you want to maybe rethink your talent choices. But at least for raiding, I found Dream of Cenarius to be kind of my one constant. It's free, it's faster than Healing Touch, and it heals more. Plus, it's a smart heal, and you don't really have to think about it, and, you know, we like smart heals. I like smart heals. But to begin with, my guild does the ping pong strategy. We usually run in a group of 10 to 15 people, depending on who turns up and who doesn't. In this case, I believe we have about 14. But yeah, we do the ping pong strat, so everybody or the range stack up on either orange or green depending on what side we're on, and we jump from there. This is where I find Displacer Beast to come in really handy. But in terms of actual healing, this first phase, with the 4 set, I life bloom each tank, which is indicated in the top left hand corner of their portrait. That is the life bloom pot. The top right hand side of the portrait in the pink is Rejuve, the light blue is Germination, and the bottom right hand corner is where Wild Growth will appear. The bottom left hand corner is where Regrowth appears, for anybody who is not familiar with the LVY setup or display of HOTS. But this first phase is really pretty easily healed with Wrath. I find it saves a lot of mana and regrowthing when you get your Omen of Clarity proc, or Nature's Witness, of course. But you shouldn't need much more than that, providing people are doing their jobs right. So when you enter Phase 2, hopefully your Phase 2 looks a bit nicer than our Phase 2, but you should have quite a lot of mana. So as you can see here, my mana is pretty much full, which is really helpful. But in regards to Wrath, I have a macro set up so that I can either cast it on my target, or if I have a focus, it tries to cast it on my focus target. So obviously, with a fight like Archimonde, I like to set him as my focus, which means I can target a tank and use Wild Growth on them if I find I need to cast it, and it's a certainty that it at least casts on that target, as well as the other random people that it likes to pick. I tend to Displacer Beast from each spot, providing I have it up, just so that I can get there fast and be able to be in position to start healing the tanks up while they're running. They shouldn't need too much, at least our tanks don't, but it does get a little bit rocky in situations where the ad is still up. But again, you still want to keep trying to Wrath in your free time, because as I said, it really doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't hurt you to just keep those heals up, in my opinion. If you have the Legendary Ring, I suggest saving that to pop with Trank, because that's when it's going to get its most value. And you may need it in this phase, depending on how well you're handling the, I don't remember what the chains are called, but you break them one at a time, they do a bit of AoE damage. The other really important thing that I've found as a Resto Druid in terms of mana conservation and AoE healing, as in not using Wild Growth as much as I used to, is strategic placement of your mushroom. You want to have it kind of used on cooldown as soon as where everybody's going to be clustered up. Obviously, this particular Archimonde attempt was not the best, but it's the only Fraps recording that I have, because I did not record our actual kill. But I could try and put one of those up later for anyone who is interested. But as far as resto healing goes, they're kind of the biggest tips I can come across, in that you want to be able to use your rejuve and germination as much as possible. If people are getting bursted down and you find you do need a bit more oomph, I suppose, without popping big AoE heals or regrowth, you can always switch to Genesis and have your hots tick really quickly on those people. But as far as mana conservation goes, wrath healing really is your biggest friend. When things start to hit the fan here, you can start obviously spamming regrowth because you're just going to have to, it's your flash heal essentially. But I suppose the point of having this much mana toward this phase of the fight is definitely to be able to spam heal. But this was a wipe, as you can tell, so we kind of all just jumped into the Nether Banish and had anyone left over wipe up there so that we could restart. But those are my tips for Resto healing Archimonde, as well as don't stand in bad. Your class trinket will definitely help if you're able to get that. The other trinket I use is the Vial of Fel something or other, the one from Zul'Harak. But hopefully that helps, and if anyone has any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot, and bye guys!